No, the UK is not going to go to war with Spain. Michael Howard was asked about Spain having potential veto over whether a Brexit deal should also apply to Gibraltar. He responded by stressing the government's full resolve to supporting Gibraltar and made an ill-advised reference to the Falklands.
The EU says that Spain will have a veto on whether any Brexit deal, the free trade deal you're talking about, should apply to the ROC. How should the British government respond to that?
As it has responded by making it absolutely clear that we will stand by Gibraltar. 35 years ago this week, Andrew, another woman Prime Minister sent a task force halfway across the world to protect another small group of British people against another Spanish-speaking country. And I'm absolutely clear that our current woman Prime Minister will show the same resolve in relation to Gibraltar as her predecessor did.
Yes, Mr. Howard, but this is not about Spain invading Gibraltar. It's not even about sovereignty. It is about Spain having a veto over whether any free trade deal that the UK makes with the EU should also apply to Gibraltar. Now, how on that issue should the British government respond?
The British government should show resolve. It's not in the interests of Spain, really, to interfere with free trade with Gibraltar. 10,000 people who live in Spain work in Gibraltar. That's a very important Spanish interest. So I'm very confident that in the end we will be able to look after all the interests of Gibraltar, including free trade.
Note how it was made clear that Spain was not talking about war. Michael Howard was using the Falklands to illustrate the point that the UK stands up for British overseas territories, yet some media pitched this as a call to war. Michael Fallon was then interviewed.
Spain is not claiming sovereignty over Gibraltar in that draft guideline that the EU published, and we are very clear that there cannot be a change in the status and sovereignty of Gibraltar unless the people of Gibraltar agree to it, and they don't, and they clearly don't, and so that is not going to happen. Gibraltar is going to be involved in these negotiations. Again, the Chief Minister made that clear. He's going to be involved throughout, and there will in the end, of course, be an agreement that fully respects the position of Gibraltar.
The Conservative manifesto on Gibraltar mentions it in exactly the same sentence as the Falkland Islands. How far is the United Kingdom prepared to go to look after Gibraltar's interests?
Oh, we're going to look after Gibraltar. Gibraltar's going to be, well, Gibraltar's going to be protected all the way, because the sovereignty of Gibraltar cannot be changed without the agreement of the people of Gibraltar. They've made it very clear they do not want to live under Spanish rule, and it's interesting, I think, in the draft guidelines from the EU that Spain is not saying that the whole thing is subject to the transfer of sovereignty.
Pretty innocuous, but some have taken him saying that we will back Gibraltar all the way as being inflammatory, and others are perpetuating this absolutely absurd war narrative. Remember, this is draft guidance about the process for trade deal negotiations. No one is invading anyone. We didn't go to war with Spain when it was led by Franco, the authoritarian military dictator. Why on earth would we go to war with them now? We are both members in NATO. That means if either of us is attacked, the other one has to come to the other's defence. Now, Gibraltar is a British overseas territory, and if it ever was attacked, it is absolutely right that the UK should come to its defence. But no one in the British or Spanish governments are talking about war. Spain's foreign minister has come out and said, someone in the UK is losing their cool, and there's no need for it. Absolutely correct. The hysteria is just absurd, such as that from Chris Bryant, Labour MP for Rhondda, who you may remember tried to blame a Turkey coup on Brexit. Bryant tweeted out that we are threatening war with Spain. Now that is an incredibly irresponsible tweet. Bryant is a Member of Parliament. There are people who could see that and be genuinely worried. It's almost like the media and some die-hard Remainers are trying to provoke conflict so they can call Brexit a disaster. Really shameful stuff. And to use a well-known phrase,
You are fake news. Sir.